Welcome. My name is Purnima. English First Language Part 1, 10th Standard, Lesson 5. What is moral action? Question Answer. Part 2, 2024-2025 Karnataka State Board Syllabus. Glossary. Alexander. Alexander the Great of Macedon, 356 to 323 BC, son of Philip II, one of the greatest conqueror of the world. Anarchy, the absence of the governmental authority. Bliss means happiness, ecstasy. Conventional means customary, adhering to tradition, and not unusual. Haltingly, hesitatingly. Henry Clay, 1777 to 1852. American statesman and orator, accused of having forsaken all principles in the hope of winning support for his candidature for presidency. King Richard II, British king, 1367 to 1400, compelled to resign from the crown in favor of his cousin, Henry of Bolingbroke. Henry IV, Richard died in prison. Shakespeare has a play centered on Richard II with the same title. Oppressor means suppressor. Penetrate means affect profoundly. Pierce. Racialism, discrimination based on skin color. St. Francis Xavier, 1506 to 1552, Jesuit missionary, known as the Apostle of the Indies, brought Christianity to India, Southeast Asia, Japan, etc., associated with Ignatius of Loyola in founding the Order of Jesuits. Saint Teresa, 1515-1582, known as Teresa of Avila, Spanish nun, reformer of Carmelite order, wrote her own mystical experience, unpretentious, modest. Wendell, 1811 to 1884, American orator and social reformer. Phillips opposed slavery. Second one, comprehension questions. A. Answer the following questions briefly. 1. In paragraph 1, Gandhiji says that our conventional behavior is A. Immoral, B. Moral, C. Neither moral nor immoral, D. Necessary, that is, E is unnecessary. Answer is neither moral nor immoral. 2. What is non-moral action? Non-moral action do not necessarily involve morality. For the most part, we act according to the prevailing conventions. Third one. What is the difference between a mechanical act and intentional act? A moral act must be our own act, must spring from our own will. If we act mechanically, there is no moral content in our act. Such action would be moral if we think it proper to act like a machine and do so. For in doing so, we use our discrimination. We should bear in mind the distinction between acting mechanically and acting intentionally. 4. Give an example each for conventional behavior and a moral act. An example of conventional behavior, wearing formal attire to a business meeting because it is the socially accepted norm. An example of a moral act, helping an elderly person cross the street safely, even if it is not required by any rule, but is the right thing to do. 5. The first paragraph discusses what is not a moral action. The second paragraph gives one important criterion to decide what constitutes a moral action. What is that criterion? Yes, that's correct. Conventional behavior follows social norms, while a moral act is based on ethical principles and the well being of others. 6. When can the messenger's act become a moral action? But the messenger's bearing the order of pardon plays only a mechanical part in the king's moral act. But if the messenger were to bear the king's order, considering it to be his duty, his action would be a moral one. 7. When according to Gandhi, can we regard ourselves to have stepped on to the moral road? Sometimes a man defies convention and acts on his own with a view to absolute good. Thus, when we all care only for what our conscience says, then alone can we be regarded to have stepped on the moral road. 8. What is the belief that Gandhiji talks of in paragraph 2? We shall not reach this stage as long as we do not believe and experience belief that God within us, the God of all, is the ever present witness to all our acts. 9. All good actions need not be moral acts. When does a good action become a moral act? Paragraph 3. Give an example. It may be that we do not always see good results flowing from a moral act. While thinking of morality, all that we need to use is that the act is good and is done with good intention. Then, in the example of feeding the poor, whose action is moral action? Take, for instance, a man out of great pity feeds the poor, and another who does the same but with the motive of winning prestige or with some such selfish end. Though the action is same, the act of one is moral and that of the other non-moral. 11. The result of our action determines whether our action is moral or non-moral. Say whether the statement is true or false. False. Well, why does Gandhi say that Alexander's conquest cannot be called moral action? Historians have called Emperor Alexander Great. Wherever he went, in the course of his conquest, he took the Greek language and Greek culture, arts and manners. And today we enjoy the benefits of Greek civilization. But the intention of Alexander behind all this was only conquest and renown. Who can therefore say that his actions were moral? It was all right that he was termed great, but moral he cannot be called. 13. In each paragraph, Gandhiji adds one criterion to consider an action moral. What criterion is added in paragraph 4? These reflections prove that it is not enough for a moral act to have been done with a good intention, but it should have been done without compulsion. 14. When does simple living become moral? But plain, simple living would be moral if, though wealthy, I think of all the want and misery in the world about me and feel that I ought to live a plain, simple life and not one of ease and luxury. 15. When does an employer's action of paying higher salaries to his employees remain non-moral? Likewise, it is only selfish and not moral of an employer to sympathize with his employees or to pay them higher wages lest they leave him. It would be moral if the employer wished well of them and treated them kindly, realizing how he owed his prosperity to them. This means that for an act to be moral, it has to be free from fear and compulsion. 16. When Gandhiji quotes Shakespeare in paragraph 5, what argument does he want to strengthen? Just as a moral action should be free from fear or compulsion, so should there be no self interest behind it. This is not to say that actions prompted by self interest are all worthless, but only that to call them moral would detract from the dignity of the moral idea. That honesty cannot long endure, which is practiced in the belief that it is the best policy. As Shakespeare says, love born out of the profit motive is no love. 17. Gandhiji mentions the name of Henry Clay as an example for moral, non-moral action. Choose the right answer. Non-moral action. 18. What qualities of Daniel Webster does Gandhiji mention? Daniel Webster, for all his great intellect and his sense of the heroic and the sublime, once sold his intellectual integrity for a price. By a single mean act, he wiped out all his good deeds. This shows how difficult it is to judge the morality of man's action because we cannot penetrate the depths of his mind. 19. What is the single mean act of Webster mentioned in paragraph 6? Daniel Webster, for all his great intellect and his sense of the heroic and the sublime, once sold his intellectual integrity for a price. 20. Why is it difficult to judge the morality of a man's action? How difficult it is to judge the morality of the man's action because we cannot penetrate the depths of his mind. 21. What arguments does Gandhiji give to justify that a moral act should be free from fear and compulsion? There is no morality whatever in my act. If I rise early out of the fear that if I am late for my office, I may lose my situation. Similarly, there is no morality in my living a simple and unpretentious life if I have not the means to live otherwise. But plain simple living would be moral if, though wealthy, I think of all the want and misery in the world about me, and feel that I ought to live a plain, simple life and not one of ease and luxury. 22. To sum up, an action becomes moral when an action completes the following. A. Springs from one's will. From paragraph 2. A moral act must be our own act, must spring from one's will. If we act mechanically, there is no moral content in our act. B. From paragraph 3. It is not enough that an act done by us in itself good. It should have been done with the intention to do good. That is to say, whether an act is immoral or otherwise depends upon the intention of the doer. C. From paragraph 4. These reflections prove that it is not enough for a moral act to have been done with a good intention, but it should have been done without compulsion. D. From paragraph 5. Just as a moral action should be free from fear or compulsion, so should there be no self interest behind it. This is not to say that actions prompted by self interest are all worthless, but only that to call them moral would distract from the dignity of the moral idea. E is not done with expectations of benefit in the life after death. Paragraph 6. The great Christian Saint Francis Xavier passionately prayed that his mind might always remain pure. For him, devotion to God was not for enjoying a higher seat after death. Be close study. Read the following extracts carefully. Discuss in pairs and then write the answers to the questions given below them. 1. Great Saint Teresa wished to have a torch in her right hand and a vessel of water in her left, so that with the one she might burn the glories of the heaven, and with the other extinguish the fires of hell. And men might learn to serve God from love alone, without fear of hell and without temptation of heavenly bliss. A. Why did Saint Teresa had a torch in her right hand? She desired to burn the glories of the heaven with a torch. B. What does a vessel of water signify? She desired to extinguish the fires of hell with a vessel of water. C. What was her message to humanity? She wanted men might learn to serve God from love alone, without fear of hell and without temptation of heavenly bliss. 2. Wherever he went, in the course of his conquest, he took a Greek language and Greek culture, arts, and manners. And today we enjoy the benefits of Greek civilization. It was all right that he was termed great, but moral he cannot be called. A. Who does he refer to? He refers to the great emperor. This is Greek King Alexander. B. What is his contribution to mankind? He took the Greek language and Greek culture, arts, and manners, and today we enjoy the benefits of Greek civilization. C. What doesn't Gandhi considered him moral, but the intention of the Alexander behind all this was only conquest and renown. Who can therefore say that his actions were moral? It was all right that he was termed great, but moral he cannot be called. Third main paragraph writing. Discuss in pairs, group of four each, and answer to the following questions. Individually note down the important points for each question and then develop the points into one paragraph answer. This is the trick. This is given in the textbook. This is a trick to remember the long answers. Main points we have to remember. Based on that, you should write in your own words the answers. Otherwise, it is very difficult to mug up the whole big answers. Don't mug up the answers. Understand the lesson. Then main points you remember. Based on that, you explain. Okay, I'll give you the first main points here. First one, write on Mahatma Gandhi's comments on action prompted by motive of happiness in another word. Action prompted by the motive of material gain here on the earth is non-moral. Second point you have to remember is Christian Saint Francis Xavier's devotion to God was not for enjoying a higher seat after death. Just you can remember this name, Christian Saint Francis Xavier. Based on this, we have to write one parent. The great Saint Teresa wished to have a torch in her right hand and vessel of water in her left. Henry Clay, known for his kindliness, sacrificed his convictions to his ambition. Daniel Webster, by a single mean act, he wiped out all his good deeds. Now, in depth explanation in paragraphs I'm giving here, just as an action prompted by the motive of material gain here on the earth is non moral. So, also another done for considerations of comfort and personal happiness in another word is non moral. That action is moral which is done only for the sake of doing good. The great Christian Saint Francis Xavier passionately prayed that his mind might always remain pure. For him, devotion to God was not for enjoying a higher seat after death. He prayed because it was man's duty to pray. The great Saint Teresa wished to have a torch in her right hand and a vessel of water in her left so that with the one she might burn the glories of heaven and with the other extinguish the fires of hell. And men might learn to serve God from love alone, without fear of hell and without temptation of heavenly bliss. Henry Clay, known for his kindliness, sacrificed his convictions to his ambition. Daniel Webster, for all his great intellect and his sense of heroic and sublime, one soul is his intellectual integrity for peace. By a single mean act, he wiped out all his good deeds. This shows how difficult it is to judge the morality of the man's action because we cannot penetrate the depths of his mind. So, why does Gandhi say that a moral act should be done without compulsion? Moral would detract from the dignity of the moral idea. If I am late for my office, this point you have to remember, I may lose my situation. Simple living would be moral if, though wealthy, an employer to sympathize with his employees and to pay them higher wages less they leave him. These main points we have to remember. Based on these, we have to write the four paragraphs or extend these all points. Let me read the paragraphs. Just as a normal action should be free from fear or compulsion, so should there be no self interest behind it. This is not to say that actions prompted by self interest are all worthless, but only that to call them moral would distract from dignity of the moral idea. That honesty cannot long endure which is practiced in the belief that it is the best policy. As Shakespeare says, love born out of the profit motive is no love. These reflections prove that it is not enough for moral act to have been done with a good intention, but it should have been done without compulsion. There is no morality whatever in my act. If I rise early out of the fear that if I am late for my office, I may lose my situation. Similarly, there is no morality in my living a simple and unpretentious life if I have not the means to live otherwise. That means simple and unpretentious life he's living because he don't have much money to lead the luxury life. That is not morality. But plain simple living would be moral if though wealthy. Even if he is rich, then if he is living simple life, then it is a moral. I think of all the want and misery in the world about me and feel that I ought to live a plain, simple life and not one of the ease and luxury. This means in the early stage of the life, he saw all the misery and now he don't want to enjoy the luxury. This whatever he has, he is peacefully living. That's enough for him. for him or her, right? Likewise, it is only selfish and not moral of an employer to sympathize with his employees and pay them higher wages, lest they leave him. The employer paying the higher wages to the employee because he know that if he didn't pay him, he will leave him. This is not a moral thing. It would be moral if the employer wished well of them and treated them kindly, realizing how he owed his prosperity to them. This means that for an act to be moral, it has to be free from fear and compulsion. Fourth main vocabulary exercises. A. Discuss in pairs the similarity or difference in meaning usage between the following pairs of words. Use dictionary. The first is say, tell. Meaning of these two words is same, but slight difference is there. What is that? Say means focuses on the word spoken. Just simply saying. Tell means focuses on delivering a message to someone. Someone is there. Tell means tell to someone. Say means simply selling. Example, she said she was tired. Second, for tell, the example is she told me she was tired. Me is here particularly. The second one, moral. Moral. Pronunciation is same, but spelling is different here. Moral, ethics, right or wrong. MORALE, moral is mode, confidence, motivation. Example, he made a moral decision to help the poor. Bad leadership can lower employees' morale. Third one is custom, habit. Customs are social and cultural, they are shared by groups. Example, shaking hands when greeting someone. Habits are personal, they are formed by individuals. Brushing your teeth before bed is a habit. Between and among. What's the difference between these two? Between used when referring to two things or small number of distinct individuals. Can also be used for more than two when relationship is clearly one to one. More than two are there, but relationship is between one. Examples: the secret is between you and me, only two people. The negotiations between the three companions were successful. Three companions are there, but negotiation is between only two. One to one is there. Each company has distinct relationship with the other in this. Among. Used when referring to more than two things or the people, especially when they are part of a group and not individually distinct. Example, she felt comfortable among her friends. She is within the larger group. This one is enough, sufficient. Enough, more gradual and commonly used in everyday speech, can be used with the nouns, adjectives, and adverbs. Usually comes before nouns and after adjectives, adverbs. Example, we have enough food for everyone before the noun, before the food. Is the coffee hot enough after the adjective? Coffee is noun here, hot is describing how the coffee is. Sufficient, more formal and often used in official and professional context, usually used with uncountable nouns, one followed by for or to. Example, the funds are sufficient for the project. We didn't have sufficient experience to get the job. Six, same, similar. Same means no difference. Similar means some differences but still alike. Examples, we bought the same dress. The dresses are identical. Example, these shoes are similar in style but different in color. Culture or civilization. Culture, the way people live, think, and express themselves. Civilization, developed a society with organized systems, government, economy, cities. Example, Japanese culture values respect and harmony. Examples, the Roman civilization was known for its laws, roads, and architecture. Rise, raise. Rise, no object happens by itself. Rise needs an object, someone or something causes it. Example, sun rises in the east. It goes up by itself. She raised her hand to ask the question. She lifted it. 9. Sympathy, empathy. Sympathy, I feel bad for you. Compassion, but from the outside. Empathy, I feel with you. You truly understand their emotions. Example, she felt sympathy for homeless man and gave him food. As a former cancer patient, the He felt empathy for others going through treatment. Practice, practice. The difference between practice and practice pronunciation is same here. Practice, practice only. Okay. Simply, I am making it for convenience. No, let me pronounce it practice only. Depends on whether you are using American English or British English. First one is American English. Practice is used for both the noun and verb. Practice is prac- practice. Practice is not used. I need more practice before the test. She practices piano every day. Okay. Here practice. More practice is a noun here. Practices is verb here. Okay. As for the British English, practice is noun. Practice is verb. Action it is. Practice we can call it is. I need more practice before the test. She practices the piano every day. Like this it is. At for the British English it is. 11. Pardon, excuse, forgive. All meaning is same only. All three words. But slight difference is there. Let's see. Pardon is a formal, legal forgiveness. Excuse is small mistakes or polite requests. Forgive means deep emotional or personal wrong. Pardon me. Could you reiterate that? Polite request. Excuse me. May I pass? Polite way to get through. I forgive you for lying to me. Letting go of personal hurt. 12. Mistake, error, blunder. Mistake, general, everyday wrong action. Error, formal, technical, or factual mistake. Blunder, a big, careless, or embarrassing mistake. Examples: I made a mistake on my test. There was an error in the report. Calling my boss by the wrong name was a huge blunder. 13. Conscience, consciousness, conscientious. Conscience is a morality, right or wrong. Consciousness is awareness, awake, unconscious. Awake versus unconscious. It is consciousness. Conscientious means hardworking and responsible. His conscience wouldn't let him lie. He lost consciousness after the accident. She is conscientious student who always submit her work on time. B. Give one word substitutes for the following. The absence of government is anarchy. Story that gives a moral fable. One who takes a delight in the suffering of others, sadist. Making atonement for one's sins, penance. A decision which cannot be changed, irrevocable. A language activities fifth main, paragraph writing, a coherent paragraph consisting of a topic sentence. TS means topic sentence, which gives you the main idea of the paragraph. Then there are supporting sentences. SS that is called, that strengthen the topic sentence and concluding sentence. TS is concluding sentence, which concludes the paragraph on coherent note. Topic sentence, supporting sentence, and concluding sentence. Look at the following paragraph. Global advertising today is biggest and most sophisticated thought control project ever undertaken. Then TS. This is TS. First statement is that means topic sentence. Some statistics reveal the true extent of this phenomenon. Supporting sentence, giving more information about that. Global advertising expenditures, according to the Benjamin Barber in his book Jihad versus McWard, 1995, rose sevenfold from 1950 to 1990 from a modest $39 billion to $256 billion. SS, it is a supporting sentence. Barber adds that per capita global spending went up from $15 in 1950 to nearly $50 in 1996. Supporting sentence. One single company, the hamburger gained McDonald's spends more than $1.4 billion each year on advertising. Supporting sentence. All these figures are huge indeed and getting bigger all the time. Concluding sentence. The opening sentence, global advertising, is the topic sentence. This is followed by four supporting sentences that strengthen the main idea and a concluding sentence that sums up the paragraph. Arrange the jumbled sentences in the logical sequence and develop them into coherent paragraphs. Identify the topic sentence and supporting sentences. She founded the Missionaries of Charity 1950, the Nobel Prize 1979, Mother Teresa known for her compassion and humanity born in 1990, D worked in a slums of Calcutta, E Bharat Ratna 1980, F rendered human service to humankind, G title of the blessed beatification 2003, passed away in 5th September 1997. Topic sentence in the above sentences is Mother Teresa was known for her compassion and humanity and was born in 1990. Supporting sentences. She founded the Missionaries of Charity in 1950 and dedicated her life to serving the poor and needy. She worked in the slums of Calcutta, rendering human service to humankind. Her selfless work earned her several prestigious awards, including the Nobel Peace Prize in 1779 and Bharat Ratna in 1980. Mother Teresa passed away on September 5th, 1997. In recognition of her service, she was befi- beatified in 2003 and given the title of Blessed. The final order list, reordering the list. First one is the Mother Teresa, known for her compassion and humanity, born in 1990. It is a topic sentence, obviously. Following these are supporting sentences. Second one is a sentence. She found a Missionaries of Charity in 1950. Third one is T, worked in the slums of Calcutta. Fourth one is F, rendered human service to humankind. Fifth one B, Nobel Prize in 1979. Sixth one is E, Bharat Ratna in 1980. Seventh one H, passed away 5th September 1997. Eighth one is the G, title of the blessed beatification 2003. The note making taking. Note making taking is an important skill. It helps to summarize and record information during reading and or listening. Various methods like linear notes, flowcharts, tree diagrams, spirograms, and different types of the layouts like table, lists, and diagrams are followed. Given below is an example of the note making using flowchart. See, this is near in the lesson because you should learn. It is 10th standard. We have to write the big answers. For that, to remember how to remember the big answers, it is a skill they are teaching in the syllabus only. How to make the notes of your big answers. MK Gandhi, this is a paragraph you have to remember. How to remember this? Many ways are there to easily remember this lesson. Main points how to remember. MK Gandhi was born on 2nd October 1869 in the princely state of Porbandar, now the part of Gujarat. After matriculation, he went to England in 1888 to study law. Having passed his bar examination, he returned to India in 1891 only to proceed to South Africa, where he hoped to do better as a lawyer than in his own city. The future Mahatma was actually made here in the land of racialism and acquired a new weapon to fight the white oppressor. This was Satyagraha, which subsequently in India was to be reinforced with the truth and nonviolence, and with which he won freedom from the British Empire until his assassination in 1948. Gandhiji's efforts were to wean his contemporaries away from wickedness, and rightly he remained the conscience of the mankind. So, how to remember this big paragraph? Landmarks of the Gandhiji's life. Main points you have to remember in this paragraph is born on 2nd October 1869 and then studied law in England 1888. Then Porbandar, Gujarat. These are the main points. Then returning to India in 1891. After that, went to South Africa, the land of racialism. Assassinated in 1948. In South Africa, he acquired a new weapon against oppression, Satyagraha. This was invented by Gandhiji, Satyagraha. Still, people are doing Satyagrahas now. Truth and nonviolence. These are the main points we have to remember. Okay. Then you write in your own sentences. These all points should be there. The paragraph should be in your own sentence. Don't mug up the whole answer. Task. Make notes on the following passage using any method of your choice. Louis Pasteur, born in a little French country town, was interested in chemistry when he was very young. After studying in Paris and showing great promise, he began to teach and lecture as a professor of chemistry. He became a professor at Strasbourg in Alsace, and he married a wife who was always to be his closest companion and assistant. Osher was deeply interested in all the new experiments that were being made in chemistry and decided to solve some of the difficult problems problems this is problems it is that were worrying chemists and other scientists. Sometimes he used to sit for hours quite silent and motionless thinking hard about one of his difficulties. He found this the easiest way to solve a problem, and then when he thought of a solution, his kind, tired looking face would brighten with pleasure and excitement, and he would rush round to tell his discovery to his wife and to others who were helping him. See how to remember this whole paragraph is main points here. I'm pointing out. This is called mind map. Louis Pasteur, early life, education, career, personal life, scientific approach, excited sheds, findings. Okay, these are the main points you have to remember. Born in small French town, early life, interested in chemistry from the young age. Second is education, studied in Paris, showed a great promise in academics. Third one is career, become professor of chemistry, taught at Strasbourg in Alsace. Fourth, the personal life, married to a supportive wife, he became his companion and assistant. She became his companion and assistant. Sorry. Fifth one is scientific approach. Passionate about experiments and discoveries, solved scientific problems, spent hours in deep thinking, excitedly shared findings with the wife and colleagues. Now, fifth one is speaking activity. In the groups of four each, prepare a list of 10 people, live or dead, who qualify for being moral as per Gandhiji's specifications. Also state the reason why you choose them. Then share your findings with your neighboring group. Here I made a list of 10 moral individuals and the reasons. First one is Mahatma Gandhi from 1869 to 1948, lived by truth, satya, and non-violence, ahimsa, led India's independence movement through peaceful resistance. Two is Nelson Mandela, 1918 to 2013, fought against apartheid with patience and forgiveness, advocate peace, reconciliation, and equality. Third one is Mother Teresa, 1910 to 1997, dedicated her life to serving the poor and sick, embodied compassion, selflessness, and humanitarian service. Fourth, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, 1891-1956, worked for the rights of the oppressed and untouchable, advocated equality, justice, and social reform. Fifth one is Swami Vivekananda, 1863 to 1902, preached universal brotherhood and spirituality, encouraged self-discipline and service to mankind. Sixth one is the Dalai Lama, born in 1935 till present he is alive, spreads the message of peace, compassion, and non-violence, advocates harmony between religions and human rights. Seventh is Abraham Lincoln, 1809 to 1865, abolished slavery and fought for human dignity, practiced honesty, integrity, and justice. Eighth is APJ Abdul Kalam, 1931 2015, promoted education, simplicity, and self-discipline, encouraged young minds to work for the progress of the nation. Ninth is Vinoba Bhave, 1895 to 1982, a disciple of Gandhi, promoted Bhudan movement, land donation for poor farmers, advocated selfless service and rural upliftment. 10th, Jesus Christ, C4 BC AD 30, preached love, forgiveness, and truth, lived a life of sacrifice for humanity. These individuals lived morally right lives by upholding truth, selflessness, compassion, and justice. Values that Gandhiji considered essential for moral person. B. Do you support Sri Anna Hazare crusade against corruption in public life? Discuss in groups of four each and arrive at important reasons for your support. Then share your findings with your neighboring group. Yes, we support Sri Anna Hazare's movement against corruption in public life. After discussing in groups, we arrived at the following five important reasons for our support. First one, promotion of transparency and accountability. His movement pushed for government transparency and responsibility, ensuring that public officials work honestly. 2. Jana Lokapal Bill advocacy. He advocated for a strong anti-corruption law, Jan Lokpal Bill, which aimed to create an independent body to investigate corruption cases. 3. Empowerment of citizens. His movement awakened the common people to demand their rights and hold leaders accountable. Fourth one, non-violent and ethical protest. Following Gandhian principles, Anna Hazare used peaceful protest, fasting, and moral persuasion instead of violence. Fifth one, fight against political and bureaucratic corruption. He highlighted corruption in politics and governance, demanding reforms to reduce bribery and misuse of public funds. Conclusion. Anna Hazare's movement created awareness and pressure on the government to act against corruption. His selfless service inspires us to uphold integrity, honesty, and justice in public life. Ninth is grammar revisited. A. Fill in the blanks with the appropriate form of the verbs. Present, simple, continuous, or perfect given in brackets. Here we have to use the simple present tense or simple continuous tense or simple perfect tense. One of these as per the requirement. First one is Sachin plays great innings. Here plays the verb in simple present tense wherever the he, she, it comes. Here Sachin is he here, right? There in front of a verb you have to apply yes here. Second one is look. He is singing there. He is singing there. I see him walking this side every day. He is going. Sorry, he is going there. Going, he is going is continuous, present continuous tense. I see simple present tense. Yes, I too have seen him many times here. Have seen is present perfect tense. Then third one is have you finished reading the book? I gave you. No, still I am reading. Simple uh, present continuous tense. I am reading. Ing will come in continuous. It. I have read only half of it. Have read is present perfect tense. Fourth one, where are you going? I am going to school. I am going is present continuous tense. The HM has asked to meet her. Has asked is present perfect tense. Fifth one is my sister is studying. Present continuous tense is studying. Medicine. She has completed. Has completed is present perfect tense. 4 years already. Sixth one is are you both still eating? No, I have finished. Have finished is present perfect tense. Finished mine, but Panka is eating still. Present continuous tense. Seventh one, prices are going up. Are going up is present continuous tense, and it is very difficult to make both ends meet. It is simple present tense. Eighth one, look, that light has been burning. It is um, perfect continuous tense. Present perfect continuous tense it is. Has been burning all night. Ninth one. He has been writing. Same it is. Perfect continuous tense. The essay for the last 2 days, but he has not completed. Perfect, simple perfect tense it is, not completed it yet. 10th one is Ramesh has been studying. Has been studying is perfect continuous tense. So we can say participle in that. In the same class for the last 3 years. The close choose the most appropriate form of verbs given in brackets and fill in the blanks. 1. I lit the lamp at 5 and it was burning brightly when Hari came in at 7. 2. I was making coffee when the light went out. Third one. I did not want to meet Aziz, so when he entered the room, I left. This is all past tense, these are all. Then fourth one is the car had nobody in it, but the engine was running. Fifth one, my friend and I were talking about you and other day. You the other day. Sixth, she suddenly realized that she was traveling in the wrong direction. Seventh, when I was looking for my passbook, I found this old photograph. Eighth one, how did you damage your car so badly? I ran into a lamp post yesterday. Ninth one, as I was crossing the road, I stepped on the banana skin and fell heavily. 10. While the guests were watching TV, thieves broke into the house and stole a lot of gold. 11th, he discovered to his horror that his child had swallowed a coin. 12. The little girl asked what had happened to her ice cream. 13. It was the mad man who did the killing. 14th. Before I reached the class, the teacher had begun the lesson. 15. When I reached the bus stop, I was told that the bus had left already. 16. The test was much easier than I had thought first. 17th. He refused to admit that he had stolen the mobile. 18th. He gave me back the book, thanked me for lending it to him, and said that he had enjoyed it very much, but I know that he had not read it because most of the pages were still uncut. 19. I thought my train would leave at 2 and was very disappointed when I arrived at 4 1:45 and learned that it just had left. I found later that I had used an out of date timetable. 20. A woman came in with a baby who she said just had swallowed a safety pin. She should supply the correct past tense. When the old lady returned to her flat, she saw at once that burglars broke in during her absence because the front door was open and everything in the flat was upside down. The burglars themselves were no longer there, but they probably only just left because the cigarette was still burning on an ornamental table. Probably they heard the lift coming up and ran down the fire escape. They helped themselves to her whiskey too, but there was a little left, so she poured herself out a drink. She wondered if they found her jewelry and rather hoped that they had. The jewelry had been given her by her husband, who died some years before. Since his death, she had not had the heart to wear it. Yet she had not liked sell it. Now it seemed that fate had taken the manor out of her hands, and suddenly the insurance money would come in handy. The future time. The word tense refers to the form of verb and not to time. In this sense, English has only two tenses, present and past. Come, came. But English has many ways of referring to future time with the shades of differences in meaning. Look at the following five sentences. Discuss in pairs and find out the difference in meaning. All of these are referring to the future. Every statement. My father will meet the HM tomorrow. My father is meeting the HM tomorrow. It is present continuous tense. but referring tomorrow is future only. My father is going to meet the HM tomorrow. Is going is present continuous. My father will be, it is future, meeting the HM tomorrow. My father meets the HM tomorrow. See, meet, if my father meets is simple present tense, but tomorrow it is referring to future only. What is the difference between all these sentences? Let's see. Each of these sentences refer to a future event, but they convey slightly different shades of meaning. Here, how they differ. First one is my father will meet the HM tomorrow. This is a simple future statement. Will is here. It indicates the future action without any emphasis on prior arrangement or certainty. It is a neutral way to express a future event. Second is my father is meeting the HM tomorrow. This suggests a pre planned arrangement. The meeting is scheduled and there is a sense of certainty about it. Third one, my father is going to meet the HM tomorrow. This indicates the future plan or intention. It emphasizes that the decision to meet has already been made, though it may not be as formally scheduled as previous sentence. He's going to meet one day, but not sure when. Fourth one is my father will be meeting the HM tomorrow. This implies that meeting will happen at some point in future as a part of an ongoing plan or routine. It can also suggest that the event is expected but not necessarily planned in detail. Not much important to that. Fifth one is my father meets the HM tomorrow. Uses this in present tense to refer to the future, which is common when talking about fixed schedules or the timetables. It gives the impression that the meeting is a part of an official or regular schedule. Definitely, he's going to meet tomorrow immediately. Tenth is a language for fun. Fun's fun. Fun in homophone or homonym. Praise the fun or fun in the following piece of humor. The first one is waiter, waiter. There is an hair in my soup. That's all right, sir. It's hair soup. Second one, what do you call this? That's a bean soup, sir. I don't care what it's been. What is it now? These are jokes. Same words with different spelling, different meaning at different things. These are just jokes. Enjoy this. Third one is teacher. John, where is the English channel? John, I don't know. We don't get in it on our TV. Teacher is asking about English channel, but he's assuming that some channel comes in TV. Fourth one, priest. What is life? Drink addict. It depends on the liver. Fifth teacher. Where was the King Solomon temple? Student on his head. Sixth teacher. Why did Mahendra Singh Dhoni take a piece of a rope onto the pitch? Student, because he was a skipper. Seventh. Why is Sachin Tendulkar so cool? Because he has many fans. Eight. Dinner. Do you serve crabs? Waiter. Sir, we serve anyone. Ninth. Mother. How much do you charge for taking children's photograph? Photographer. 50 rupees for three. Mother. You will have to give me time. I have only two now. He is telling for 50 rupees for three photographs, but she is telling she's only two persons are in the photograph. One more person to take a snap. I should bring. She is telling. Then the worst telegram we ever saw was the one received by a new father. Twins arrived tonight. More by mail. Can you think of any other joke based on pun? Share it with your class. Pun means the words are having the different spellings but pronunciation is same. Why don't skeletons fight each other? Because they don't have the guts. Please like, share, subscribe, and save the playlist. Thank you very much. Bye bye.